Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, Resources for Living with Authenticity and Purpose. We're going to talk today about needs versus wants and how those wants hang us up, they catch us, um, and how needs are things that are necessary for our life. So I'm going to start by asking you, how many times have you said, I need that? You went and you got it. And in retrospect, you admitted that it wasn't really a necessity, that it was a want. So if we look at needs versus wants, that want might have been a new pair of shoes, another piece of chocolate, art supplies, brand new car. You fill in your blank as to what that might have been. And then ask yourself, did I really need that? Or was it something that was just filling an increasingly bottomless pit that was eroded by fear? And sometimes when we're in the moment and we think we really need something, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. It's difficult with our internal monologue shouting over our common sense. And sometimes that internal monologue is revving and saying, oh, the price is great. You need that new shirt. Or, oh, your car is getting up there in mileage. You really need to look for something else. And sometimes we can quiet the internal monologue and really listen to our common sense. In those moments, it's easy. We may not really need another pair of shoes. We may realize that we really have had enough chocolate and we don't need that other piece. And we can laugh at our attempt to delude ourselves into believing that that want was a need. But at other times, we can't stop ourselves from crossing the barren wasteland of our fears and enter into that place of elusive abundance of wants. So, if you're like me, it's pretty easy to tell when you've mentally crossed the barrier um, and labeled a need and labeled a want as a need. Um, but the issue is sometimes we can mentally or cognitively know when we're mislabeling a want, but it's hard to emotionally really accept that. And so I want to talk about last week, I had this epiphany moment about needs versus wants. And it was really triggered by the actions of another. I saw what another was doing, not the exact activity that they were doing, but I saw the essence of what they were doing when they were holding on to something that was desperately was a want that they thought was a need. And so I want to talk to you about the epiphany that I had. By now, we've all heard about COVID-19, the novel coronavirus, that has raised the fear level in everyone that I know. It seems that it's all anything that we are talking about. And I have to say, the unknown is really scary. It's walk around any big box store and you're going to see shelves emptied of cleaning supplies, hand sanitizer, soap, antibacterial wipes. And I find myself wondering who really needs 10 jumbo bottles of hand sanitizer or a case of antibacterial wipes. One woman even confided in me that she had purchased $80 worth of canned goods. And much of those items she didn't even like. But she said that she felt like she had to have these canned goods on hand in case everything was shut down and she couldn't get anything to eat. Now, I have to say these examples are extreme examples of wants versus needs, or wants turned into a need because of fear. But sometimes it takes an extreme example for us to gain understanding. And my epiphany came as I felt compassion for those caught in the Shempa of fear. And as an empath, I felt their fear racing towards me, and I was caught. I had to breathe through and remind myself that I had enough food at home to last, that I didn't even like I don't even like hand sanitizer. It dries my hands out. I'd much rather use soap and water. So, and to remind myself that I do have makeup wipes at home that I could use if I really needed to clean down something in a pinch without soap and water. So that epiphany moment came in me really shifting and seeing that how many times I had gotten caught in those fear filled ones, um, and turned them into needs. So for me, that might have been, seeing something at a great price and I really didn't need another blouse, or I really didn't need to fill my cupboard with those foods, but gosh, it was such a great price. And shouldn't I take advantage of that because I'm saving money? And so I used this epiphany moment to ask myself, how was I mimicking the foundation of their behavior? How do I get caught in fear and delude myself into believing that a want is actually a need? Now, I'm going to tell you, there's no shame in getting caught in the illusion of fear filled want, mislabeled as a need. I think that we all have done that. And again, if you manage to avoid that, please let the rest of us know how you manage to avoid mislabeling a want as a need. When we mislabel and then have the epiphany where we've recognized that we've mislabeled, it provides an opportunity to reconnect to our core and redefine how we live our life. And so begin by recalling a time when you labeled something as a need that was really a fear filled want. And let this illusion settle into your being. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm really big on full body listening. So I'm going to ask you as it settles into your being to really pay attention to how it impacts your body. Is your body tense? Is it loose? Do you feel a hollowness? Do you feel stuffed? Whatever. Just discover how it's impacting you physically. Ask yourself what's going on in your internal monologue. Mentally, what does that mislabeled want say to you? And again, that could be in words, it could be in um, pictures, it could be in sounds, it could be in a number of ways. Then ask yourself emotionally, what does that mislabeled want do? And you might want to really dig down. So it brings anxiety, but at the root of it is fear. And what is that fear all about? Get as deep as you can get, knowing that as deep as you get is okay. You don't have to find the taproot at this point. And then ask yourself spiritually or energetically how it's impacted you. You can ask yourself, that's another way of saying, how did it manifest physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? Now, notice where and how it speaks to you. This is important. Listen to how it speaks to you. How is it triggering your fear as you name what it is saying? And then really listen to the fear that's bubbling up inside. The next thing might be really hard. It's about befriending your fear. It's asking yourself, what can I do to alleviate the suffering triggered by my fear? And then act upon your learning, act upon what you've discovered. Knowing that one small step will bring you closer to fine tuning your ability to name when a need is just an illusion of a want. Now, lastly, what I want you to do is ask yourself, How can I reconnect to my authentic self? And what do I really need? I will tell you sometimes what I really need is just to be quiet and breathe. And that helps to reset everything going on in my life so that I can move on. But that connection may be the single most difficult thing that you will do today, and realize that. And you need to celebrate when you reconnect, when you redefine and you really begin to live out of your needs so that you can appreciate those moments that you're honestly taking care of a want. But also realize that each time you uncover a need of illusion or an illusion of need, that it becomes easier to confront that hidden want, to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, that's a want. And then to choose rationally whether or not you want to meet that want. It's through this compassionate confrontation you gain the strength to align with what you really need in your life. So that's my epiphany of a need versus a want. I hope that it was beneficial to you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you need a little more help in defining a need versus a want and create strategies in your life to really live authentically, contact me for life coaching. As a intuitive coach catalyst, I work with individuals to create strategies in their life as an intuitive mentor to help them to really begin to percolate their intuition in ways that they can listen to it. More information is available at intentandaction.com. That's INTENTACTION.com. But mostly live your life enjoying, celebrating those moments when you get those needs right, and enjoy the wants sometimes too. Have a terrific day.